Hey, I'm Ted Dromo. Welcome to Networking in the Digital Age. Today's agenda, I'm going to show you how to make a great first impression so people will remember you. Then I'm going to teach you how to establish yourself as the go-to expert in your industry. And I'll show you how to build long-term relationships to provide ongoing business and lots of referrals. In case you don't know me, I am the author of Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business, Ultimate Guide to Twitter for Business from Entrepreneur Press. I spent over 20 years in the high-tech industry working for companies like Digital, IBM, and Cellular One before I made my transition into coaching and marketing and online marketing. So how do you make a great first impression so people remember you? And this is so important these days because, everybody's moving so fast. We access the internet primarily on our phones now, so we have a tiny little screen. So you really need to grab people's attention so they'll learn more about you. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So trust is really built on first impressions. Imagine you had to have surgery. You walked into your doctor's office and the guy that comes in to examine you is the guy on the right. And he looks like he just got off his Harley. He's like, probably smells like alcohol. Who knows what he smells like, but you get the idea. The first impression is, would you want the guy on the right operating on you or the guy on the left? And essentially, it's the same person, but that first impression just says, oh my gosh, I don't want this guy touching me. Now imagine if this woman came in and interviewed for a job at your company, for an executive position, and she came in dressed like she was on the left in jeans and a hoodie. Now, what's the first impression? Do you think she's qualified for the job? Maybe she's really qualified, but that first perception is, gosh, this woman's not going to be an executive in my company. But if she comes in dressed like on the right, a more professional look, the first impression is, okay, she's very professional, dresses nicely, looks very elegant. So that just the impression, when you start talking to her, it's the same person, but your perception is very, very different. So first thing you have to do is establish your online brand. And I never thought about this until I wrote my books. I've written 3 books now for Entrepreneur Press. And I really didn't realize how important your personal brand is and your company brand. And think about, big brands, Coca-Cola, Ford, General Motors, all these companies spend billions of dollars every year establishing their brand and their logos everywhere, literally everywhere. Driving down the road, you see signs, TV, radio, print, online. These people, they spend billions of dollars creating that brand. But, as a small business owner, I don't have to spend a lot of money and you can build a really powerful brand. Let me show you how I do it. So here's what you see when you come to my website. I have a video of the new LinkedIn there. That's cut off there a little bit. Apologize for that. But you see my header, the part above that. It's a picture of me with a smiling face. It's got my logo and my navigation. So this is my header. And I've got LinkedIn in the background because I'm America's leading LinkedIn coach. So this is the brand I try to establish all throughout the internet. So here's my LinkedIn profile. My background image is that same logo. I'm standing on the other side, but it's the same brand, same logo with that same smiling face. So here's my Twitter. What's my background image? Same thing. It's actually the exact same one, just cropped a little differently. So you can use the same background so it's consistent throughout the internet. Here's my Facebook page. Same thing. It's that same exact logo, same exact header, actually, probably the same file even, just cropped a little differently. And then as my profile picture, I have a different headshot wearing the same outfit. So it's consistency. Here's my Google Plus page. Again, same thing, same logo, same colors. YouTube, same thing. So I get this all the time. People will reach out to me. Wow, you are everywhere on the internet and your brand is so strong. And I kind of chuckle inside because I think I'm just using the same file almost, either 2 or 3 different versions of the file and place it all on these social media sites. And they think I have this really powerful brand that I spent thousands of dollars creating. So I'm going to talk a lot about LinkedIn today because the new LinkedIn profile And these hot spots can make you stand out from your competitors. Now, same thing, you get 2 seconds or less to grab people's attention these days because they go to LinkedIn, they look you up. And did you know that 83% of people will look at your LinkedIn profile before having a meeting with you or before doing business with you? Think about that, 83%. So if you haven't completed your LinkedIn profile, or you don't have a good picture, or you didn't complete your summary, that's the first impression they get of you and your company. So you really, really have to grab onto this. And most LinkedIn traffic is mobile now, so think about that too. About 75% of people access LinkedIn from their mobile device. So they're on their way to an appointment to meet with you in the parking lot. They're probably looking at your LinkedIn profile on their phone. So this is where you got to make that great first impression. And LinkedIn's the largest business networking site out there, over 500 million members, so you've got to have a strong presence there. So if you haven't received the LinkedIn desktop update yet, everybody's being upgraded to this new interface. And this is essentially what you see on an iPad or your phone, and this will be the desktop also. So what's the first thing they see? It's that background header. It's 1400 pixels by 425, and there's you have to have it positioned just right. But Alex Mondosian, he's done a great job getting his. He's in there speaking, and he tells you what he does. He's a new media influencer. Next is the professional photo. This is critical. I'm going to show you some examples of some good ones and some bad ones. And I'm not picking on people here. I'm not making fun of people, but you're going to see the first impression people are making on LinkedIn, and they kind of wonder why maybe they don't have enough business. Next is a clean name field. I'll get into that. What I mean by clean name, it's just first name, last name. There's not all these extra keywords in there. Next, professional headline. That by default, LinkedIn will take your current job title and your current company and stick it in there. And if you're a financial advisor, you are going to be in there. If you do a search for financial advisor or executive coach, you will see thousands of people appear in the search results on LinkedIn, and nobody stands out from each other because they all use the same boring job title and professional headline. Next is your education, location, connections. I'll get into that, how you change that. The first 2 lines of your summary. This is part of the new layout. Now, before, people had to scroll further down in your profile to see your summary, but the first 2 lines, you can grab people's attention here. And the whole goal is when they see this little screenshot on their phone or on their desktop, you want them to scroll and keep reading and learn more about you. Otherwise, they click away, go on to the next people. So this is how you lose business to your competitors, by not making a great first impression. So here's how you change your custom background header. Like I said, you just upload it, click on the button on the right there, and 1400 by 425. You can go to Fiverr.com for $5 or $10, maybe even spend $20, get the premium version. You can get a really professional one that will fit into your background, because there's some little sizing things you have to do to make it work, and really spend $5 to $20 and do this. It's very valuable real estate. See, this is my background header on LinkedIn. So it clearly says my name, and I'm America's leading LinkedIn coach. I should have my website in there, but sometimes it gets cut off by the little bubble of your profile picture. But this gets a lot of attention from me, and I get a lot of good feedback from it. So Will Rogers said this. A lot of people have claimed this quote: you never get a second chance to make a first impression. That's it. You got 1 to 2 seconds in today's world to get people's attention and hold their attention. Now here's Rhonda. She looks like a project manager. She doesn't want to share her profile picture with us, and she doesn't have a custom background header. So if you're thinking you're looking for a project manager, this is the profile you see. What are you going to do? You're going to click on to the next one because it doesn't look complete. So it kind of reflects on the person. If your profile isn't complete on LinkedIn, they're going to perceive that you are not a thorough person. You're not going to complete projects, or you're not going to do a thorough job. So, maybe you are great and you do follow through and you do excellent work, but if you don't take a few minutes to customize your LinkedIn profile, their first impression isn't going to be good. Here's Shante. Again, look at this picture. It's a big logo, a banner behind there. She's standing there, it's all distracted. She's just a tiny afterthought in the bottom corner of the picture. So, first impression, sorry, it's not very good for me. So here's Steve Ryan. He is a financial advisor. And he's used a crop photo. Looks like he's probably standing at a wedding, an outdoor wedding maybe, or some event. He's not even centered. He's cropped out maybe his ex-wife or his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. Who knows? But now think about this. Steve's a financial advisor. He's an associate vice president. And his job is to manage your lifetime savings. So he's going to try to work with you and say, trust me enough that you will let me manage your life savings. But I'm not going to spend $100 on a nice photo. I'm going to use this cropped photo. To me, that perception is he's not going to do a good job managing my money. So I'm not going to go click on his and learn more about him. Now, this is what the perception is. It may not be true. He may be the best financial advisor in the world, but he's not getting my attention with this. And here's Exodus Justin. This is poor lighting on busy background. See his background, he's got a background header, but it's blurry and it's cut off. So you really have to make it fit for that mobile device. And look at his picture. I love that smile. He looks like he's a very fun guy. I want to get to know him. But look at the background and the lighting. It's all red and there's all this distraction in the background. It's not a great first impression. And now Lisa Carver, this is just not appropriate for LinkedIn. I'm seeing more and more of this. And I've actually had women reach out to me and say, how do I get people to stop hitting on me on LinkedIn? It's not a dating site. But I see more and more women, and they're like at cocktail parties or at their big events, and they're just not appropriate. This is not a business photo. I'm sorry. She's from University of California, Berkeley. It's an excellent school. She's got an MBA. She's had some very high-level positions. She's very successful in her career, and this is the first impression you get, on LinkedIn. It's not professional. I'm sorry. And I'm not making fun of people or, doing this to be negative. This is really what people are doing on LinkedIn, and they wonder why they're not getting a great result. Here's another financial, Terry, and he's got a logo of a cheap-looking dollar sign. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to trust my life savings with somebody that won't go out there and get a professional photo. I'm tainted because I spend all day on LinkedIn and social media, and it's really important to me to get that great first impression. Let people know how you can help them. Here's Dorian. He has got a professional photo, and he doesn't have a background photo anymore for some reason. He used to have a header back there, but I'll have to reach out to him and find out. I actually know him. He's got a nice professional photo, background, smiling face looking right at the camera. This is the first impression you want to make. Here's Rhonda Heineman. Now this is a lot of people like this with the nature background. Nothing wrong with the nature background as long as it's blurred like that. Sometimes it's the same focus as your face, so you blend in with the bushes behind you and the trees. So it's not great. This is great. She's smiling face looking right at you. Now the clean name field, as I mentioned, you get a first name and a last name field. One of the tricks for ranking better for certain keywords is to use your last name field. And I've done this before, and I paid the price. I got my account suspended for a day, actually. I had LinkedIn coach in my last name field. So I had Ted, and my last name was Padromo, LinkedIn coach. I ranked at the top of LinkedIn for LinkedIn coach searches, and people knew exactly how I could help them. It worked really well, but it's against the terms of service, and it can get you suspended, and you have to reach out to support and get your account reinstated. You see, that's nice and clean how she has hers. And good smiling face again with a nice background. So here, you can put one certification or accreditation, PhD. But you don't want to clutter it up with lots of them. Let me show you this next one. Matthew Wintz, he's an MMIS, PMP, SSBB, CSM. Now, personally, I have no idea what MMIS, PMP, Project Manager, I know that one, SSBB, CSM. Now, if you're in the industry, you probably know what that is, but most people have no idea. And if I search for Matthew Wintz on LinkedIn, The LinkedIn search engine is not that smart. So you may not be able to get him. He may not appear in the search results. So don't clutter it up with too many certifications. Put those down in the certification section of your profile. Here's the professional headline of this. Other than your profile picture, I think this is the most important part of your profile. So here, this is what by default. Nancy Duarte, she's a principal at Duarte Incorporated. What that means, they took her experience section, her current job, and just stuffed it in there. Now, this is valuable real estate. This is where you get a chance to stand out from your competitors. Like I said, search for a financial advisor. Hundreds of thousands of financial advisors will come up, and 99% will have just financial advisor, and where they work will come up. So how do you stand out from the other hundreds of thousands of financial advisors? You do a benefit-related statement here. Change it. Be different. So here's another approach to use keywords or skills, and I've used this, and I'm always testing to see what works. So you take your skills and put them in there. So he's in business development, financial analysis, executable strategy, reduces costs, and enhances something. So this actually works fairly well. I changed mine a while back. I said LinkedIn coach, and I had 3 people reach out to me in 24 hours and say, hey, I need some LinkedIn help. So test things to see what gets the most response. Here's a warning on your picture. See, Ambro did not crop his properly, so he's got a huge body and a really tiny head, so it looks very distorted. Another thing to look out for when you use the skills and keyword approach, notice development/financial has no spaces. LinkedIn, again, is not very smart, so it thinks it's development/financial is one word. So if you're searching for business development, he may not come up for that. I spend too much time on LinkedIn. I've been doing search engine optimization and online marketing stuff for 15 years. So I have a really keen eye for this, and I notice these subtle little things, but it makes a huge difference in people being able to find you. So here's differentiation. Jenny, she's a keynote presenter, driven to make boring subjects like accounting and technology interesting, if you look at her full profile. So that's differentiating yourself from other people. Instead of just saying, she's a keynote presenter, she's making it interesting, making you want to click and learn more about her. And I don't know why she has a picture of her dog in the background. If you're a dog lover, that might attract you, but make sure there's some consistency between what you're posting and with your images. And if she's a dog trainer or something, put a dog back there. But it's a keynote presenter that's talking about accounting and technology. It doesn't match. So here's benefit-oriented. Bob Woods, he's helping you usher in the next step in the sales process. Social selling and LinkedIn, he's a consultant. So that's using a benefit-related phrase. How do you help people? Flip it around. Don't talk about yourself. What problems do you solve for your clients? What's your unique selling proposition? Why are you different than your competitors? Why are you better than your competitors? Here's one I just started using a while back, and it works really well. I get about 5 to 8 people a week actually respond to this. Does your LinkedIn profile really tell people how you help them? DM me, direct message me to schedule a complimentary LinkedIn profile review. About 5 to 8 people reach out to me. We schedule time, and I get 5 to 8 sales calls out of it every week. So a lot of people take advantage of my LinkedIn profile makeovers after we talk to them. I give them some information, good information, explain my process and how I work with LinkedIn, and it's a great way for getting people's attention. Next is your education, location, and network size. So you want to complete all those sections, and here's where you change that when you're editing your profile. Next is the summary. So this is new with the new layout. They never included your summary in the first initial screenshot that people saw of you, but the first 2 lines are critical now. So if you're not getting business from LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Google, let me help. And that makes them want to click and read more about how I can help them. So if they're not interested in getting business from LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and Google, they won't click, and they would never become a customer of mine anyway, so I'm pre-qualifying people with that. So here's the first part of my summary. And then I make it really easy to schedule time with me or to call me anytime to talk. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't get thousands of phone calls from putting your phone number there or scheduling. People are usually really respectful of your time. And I let people download free chapters of my books there. And then I go into my summary and I tell my story of how I went through the technology world. I was in 20 years, successful career, blah, blah, blah. .com crash. I tell my story about the .com crash wiped out a 20-year career. I had to start over and start over. So tell your story. Be vulnerable in there. Share stories about yourself in the summary, and it gets people interested. So next, establish yourself as the go-to expert in your industry. And I learned so much about this after writing 3 books now for Entrepreneur Press. How do you establish yourself as the expert? People, it's really, like I said before, it's a lot about perception. And I'll show you how I do it. So there's some tools out there like Clout. It's not perfect. It just kind of gives you a snapshot of where you are ranked. They have some different, topics, what your expertise is, and how much people have endorsed you and shared your content. Problem with Cloud, I don't really log into it very often, and after 90 days, LinkedIn and Facebook will disconnect. You have to manually reconnect them, and I miss out a lot of my Cloud score because I don't go back and connect them. But it gives me a guide. Where do I stand? Social Selling Index is from LinkedIn. This is something you can go to search Google for LinkedIn Social Selling Index, and they'll give you your score. You don't have to actually subscribe to get the initial score from Sales Navigator. Mine just dropped from 92 to 86 in a week, so it tells me what happened. I'm not engaging with enough insight. So it's telling you the factors they use to create this. So it helps me with my social media activities. And here's a social media tool I use, Sendable. I have a lot of my content scheduled. All my content is scheduled in here. And then I get reports. So I know what content I'm sharing that is getting a lot of interactions. And when you share a lot of content consistently, people perceive you as an expert. So I'm sharing lots of great content. A lot of it I wrote. It's excerpts from my books. And then I drive people to my website or to buy my books. And a lot of it's content I share of other people's. So here's a quick snapshot report. It shows me, what's working and what's not working. It's really helpful because I see if there's certain topics people aren't responding to, I don't have to write that kind of content anymore. I write the content that's getting responses. And here's the perception pyramid I talked about, how we're perceived, what we do, what we say, what we think. And, after writing these books, it's just really changed because everybody perceives me because I've had 3 published books by a major publisher. Now they perceive me as the go-to expert. I know a lot about LinkedIn, but there's other people that know more about LinkedIn maybe, or a little bit about the same, but maybe they're not as perceived as an expert because they haven't gotten the publicity and they're not perceived. They're not sharing all that content like I'm sharing it. So here's how I share the content frequently. This is kind of just tells me who's responding to my content, who retweeted my things, who direct message me, and it's a good little snapshot. It's a really great tool, Sendable. It's about $50 a month. Some people think that's expensive, but you couldn't hire a full-time person that can do your content as well as this. I just have all the content queued up, and as I come across new content, I add it in there. And then here's how you could automate it in my queues. So I've got a queue for Google Plus posts, Google Plus posts for LinkedIn related. I've got them all scheduled to go off consistently. And there's probably 100, 150 posts in there. And I just keep adding to these queues. So the queues keep growing and recycling. And you want to make sure the content's still relevant. If things change and that post is not relevant, you don't want to get it out of there, obviously. But this way you can really, instead of blasting all your content to all the social networks at once, I stagger it. So different articles and different posts are going to different networks all the time. Share where your audience hangs out. I don't get business from Pinterest. It's just not for me right now. I don't know. Maybe I could be getting business, but you can only really do a couple of them really well. So find out where your audience is. It doesn't make sense for me to create a bunch of content for Pinterest when I get a lot of good response on Twitter LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. So I focus on those networks. I've been playing around with Instagram a little bit. That could be a potential great source too, but you really have to find out where you're getting the most response, and that Sendable will tell you which networks are getting the most response. You don't have to try to guess. Always add images to your posts. See, these are some of my posts I've shared on LinkedIn, people I've interviewed, and other people's content that I've shared. But when you put a nice, vibrant image, people read it, they interact, they like, comment, and share more often. If you just put text up there, it blends in with everything. It doesn't really stand out. People love to click on images. So here's how I share a lot of other people's content. So every blog has what's called an RSS feed, really simple syndication, technical stuff there, but entrepreneur.com posts lots of content every day. So what I can do is I put their RSS feed in Sendable, and every day it'll post a few things for me. And you can put it in by keywords. So you can put specific topics and not share other kinds of topics. Like I don't put political posts out there, so I can filter out different keywords that are for political, Democrat, Republican, whatever. I don't let those go out. But lots of great sources. And then I have other social media experts. We share each other's content. So I subscribe to their blog through this. And every time they post, I automatically share it on all my networks. So it's a great way to automate it. And the more content you share, it doesn't have to all be your own, people perceive you as the go-to person in your industry. Because like, wow, he knows all this stuff and he's sharing content from Kim Garst and Perry Marshall and Vivica and Rosen. And he must be really connected with all these people. And I know these people, but I don't know all the people of content I'm sharing. But it's really a perception thing. And with people just scanning everything, it just subconsciously gets into the mind. Wow, Ted's connected with all these people and he's always sharing great content. So next, we want to build the long-term relationships to provide ongoing business and lots of referrals. I mean, there's nothing better than a customer that's a repeat customer and they keep coming back and buying and buying and buying from you. The only thing better than that is when they refer you new business. So this is how you do it. First, get this book. This is a classic book. I've read it so, I don't even remember when I read it, 20, 30 years ago, maybe, who knows. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Over 70 years in print. Not that old, but this is really how you communicate with people and get people to know, like, and trust you quickly. What's happening in our world today is everybody's got their phone, their heads buried in their phone, and they're not interacting with people. We don't have deep conversations anymore. It's all just quick interactions. But when you take the approach of this book, people are going to know, like, and trust you faster than you can imagine. So how do you get people to like you? So this is from the book. These are some of the tips. Become genuinely interested in other people. And they highlight the word genuinely there. You can't fake it. It's just people know when you're faking it. So be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. You meet somebody at a conference or a networking event or a cocktail party. The best way to approach it is ask them a lot of questions about themselves and their business, things they're interested in, and just shut up and listen. Let them do 80% of the talking, and they're going to love you. They think you're the most interesting person in the world. It's really ironic how that works, because the more they talk about themselves, the more they're interested in you, the more they like you. So talk in terms of other people's interests. You know, if you meet somebody that likes to golf and you golf, talk about golf. Talk in terms of, you know, if they're from a certain country or a certain part of our country. Talk about, you know, what you know about that and ask them questions. Learn more about it. If they're from Montana and you've never been there, ask them questions about Montana. And they'll just start gushing and they won't shut up. So make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Again, I highlight the word sincerely. You can't fake this. You really have to want to learn this stuff from people, because it's like a used car salesman. Yeah, you shake their hand and it's like, oh my God, this guy's going to try to sell me something I don't want. Focus on helping them. That's the key too. Flip it over. Brian Tracy says, what's in it for me? WIIFM. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about how your wonderful car and I drive a Porsche. I live in a $2 million house and I'm the top salesman in my company. Focus on helping them. Then refer business to them with no expectation of a return referral. Now don't think about if I give you a referral, I expect one back. No, just give and help people and things will work really well. So LinkedIn tips. Again, 83% of people will look at your LinkedIn profile before doing business with you. LinkedIn is the largest professional network anywhere, 500 million plus users. So focus your profile on how you serve people in your business. Avoid using I and me. Talk about you. Ask them you. How do you help people? What problems do you solve for them? Flip it around. You're going to have in your experience section and your education all about you and how great you've done, all your accomplishments. But in your summary and your professional headline, talk about them and the problems you solve for them. Every time you connect with someone on LinkedIn, 99.9% of the time, you will never hear from that person again. So what I like to do is reach out to them instead of just sending a message saying, hey, thanks for connecting. I send them a welcome message, offering to introduce them to my people in my network. I say something like, thanks for joining my network. If there's anyone in my network you want to meet, let me know. I will personally introduce you. Then I ask an interesting question. I say, just for fun, tell me something interesting about you or your business. And about 25% of people will reply and tell me something interesting about their business. It starts conversations with people that often lead to phone conversations that lead to new business. Share, like, and comment on their content. So don't just post content. Don't be a one-way megaphone. Help other people share their content, like it. Because every time you like, share, or comment on their content, they get notified and they appreciate it. They see that you're consistently helping them get the word out about their content. They're going to return the favor. Write a recommendation for somebody. This works like magic. When I'm working with clients, as I come to the end of a project or we're wrapping things up, I'll write a recommendation for them and tell about the experience I had working with them. And what happens is LinkedIn prompts them to write a recommendation back. But do it. Write recommendations for people and they will return the favor. This is my favorite. Say happy birthday. Facebook, every day I see birthdays of people and I say happy birthday to them on Facebook. And it's great because most of the time they'll reply and say, hey, thanks. So you do it on LinkedIn, it works even better, if you can believe that. These are business professionals at work. They think they're so busy, but they take the time. And I add a little line like, happy birthday, Joe. Are you doing anything exciting for your birthday? Or are you doing anything fun on your birthday? About 20% of the time, they will reply and tell me what they did on their birthday. And it starts a conversation, which often leads to a phone conversation, which leads to new business. Share, like, and comment on other people's posts on Facebook. Same thing. Give, help, and it all comes back. Start friendly conversations with people. Participate in groups and focus on helping others. There are so many groups on Facebook, and there's a lot of experts on there, but when you reach out and help people and not try to sell them things, a lot of people, you ask a question, they'll come back and say, oh, I can help you, hire me. No. Answer the question. Give them the answer. Don't expect them to have to pay you to give that answer. It leads to business. The more you give, the more you receive. And avoid controversial topics. Facebook, actually, personally, I've been spending a lot less time on Facebook these days because it's just become such an angry place. There's so much hatred right now. I don't want that in my subconscious. So I've been staying away from it, and I filtered out a lot of the people that just won't stop talking about politics right now. So you want to stir up the pot, go ahead, but you get a lot of people unfollow you, and personally, I don't think it's good for your business. Twitter tips. Focus on meeting new friends. Now, Twitter seems to be like, I either get it or you don't get it. And when you do get it, it's a conversation back and forth. It's not just about blasting content out there. It's about engaging with people in conversations and meeting new people. When you share your content and people retweet it, it goes into other networks and more people start following you. So new people come into your circle. So focus on people you serve. So when they come and view your profile, they'll see how you can help them. Don't say, I got a Porsche, I'm making $1 million a year, blah, blah, blah. Talk about them, not you. Like and retweet other people's tweets. Start friendly conversations again and again. Avoid the controversial topics unless you want to create a firestorm. I had some of my content queued up. It came from, I think, Mashable, an article about Donald Trump during the election. And I got hundreds of thousands of people interacting with that. It went viral because it was a Mashable post. People were like just blasting me on Twitter. And some people were supporting me. They're like, it created a lot of activity, but it's not the kind of activity I want to get engaged with online. So in conclusion, I showed you how to make a great first impression so people will remember you. So grab their attention and make them want to learn more about you. Now you know how to establish yourself as the go-to expert in your industry. That's so important. And it's, all these experts out there, they're just like you and me. We're all the same. Maybe they know 10% more than everybody else, but they've got the publicity, they got the exposure, so people perceive them as the go-to expert. They'll show you how to build long-term relationships, which provide ongoing business and lots of referrals. So I have a little gift for you. I have a free LinkedIn class. It's at linkedaccelerator.com/free. So not LinkedIn accelerators, linkedaccelerator.com/free. And here's my other contact information, tedprodromo.com, ted@tedprodromo.com. Follow me on Twitter at tedprodromo. See, I'm using consistency in my brand, my business name, my URLs, all my social media names have Ted Prodromo with no space in them. So my LinkedIn class is an hour long. It's free. It teaches you my theory of how to use LinkedIn. I go much deeper into what we did. We just scratched the surface today, but it's my gift to you for participating in this. So thank you, everybody, and I can't wait to meet you on social media.